Hi everyone, welcome back to another anatomy episode. In today's video, we're looking at the back and arm muscles, so please like and subscribe for more content. And first, we're going to start off by looking at this model of the posterior side of an individual. So we're going to look over here at the muscle side. The first thing that you can see is the lumbodorsal fascia, which is this white region over here. It's basically kind of just your lower back area, lumbodorsal fascia. Then we have the muscle that is above it. This is called the latissimus dorsi, and it's going to be this region over here. So it kind of forms like a triangle. It's all of that muscle over there. And again, that is the latissimus dorsi. Now we have the trapezius muscle. The trapezius muscle is very much in a triangle, so it's going to be over here. It's also on the other side of your back, but on this diagram, it shows the deep side, so you just see one side of it. But this is your trapezius. Now we have your rhomboid minor and your rhomboid major. So the rhomboid minor is going to be this first section up here. And that is your rhomboid minor. And then right below it is going to be your rhomboid major. So from here to here is your rhomboid major. So they're directly next to each other, one on top of the other. And they just are two different muscles, one smaller than the other. All right, now we're gonna take a look at the arm and the scapula muscles, but we're gonna do that on a more close-up model. So over here, you can see your infraspinatus muscle first. The infraspinatus muscle is going to be this one over here, kind of like number 5. That is your infraspinatus. Then above the spine of the scapula, you are going to have the supraspinatus muscle. So number 4 over here, above the scapular spine is your supraspinatus. Next, you have your different teres. So you have your teres major, that is going to be number 6 over here. That is your teres major. And then right below it is going to be your teres minor. So the teres minor would be number 7 over here below. Teres minor. Those are all of the different muscles that are part of your scapula. Now we're going to go into the arm. One more thing about the scapula is you also have a muscle on the posterior side that is called your subscapularis muscle. Subscapularis muscle over here on the posterior side of the scapula. All right, now moving on to the arm. So the first muscle of the arm on this side is going to be your extensor side. So over here you have your triceps brachii. The first triceps brachii is going to be this region over here, and this is your lateral head. So where number 10 is pointing, that is the triceps brachii, and again on your lateral head. Now you also have a long head. So the long head is going to be more on the superficial side, closest to your scapula. So that one over there, kind of where number 9 is labeled, that is the long head of the triceps brachii. Finally, the last head of the triceps is your medius head or your medial head. That is basically just going to be this region, kind of where your elbow is. And again, that is the medial head. All right, now moving into the different triceps. Moving into the different extensor groups. First, you have your extensor carpi radialis. The extensor carpi radialis is going to be number 2 because it's basically going to wrap around and come to your thumb region. So right over there. Extensor carpi radialis. Next, you have your extensor digitorum. The extensor digitorum is going to be this thick muscle over here in the middle. It's labeled number 3, and you can see that this white tendon, it connects and then it branches off into all of your different fingers. So that is how you know that it is the extensor digitorum, because it's in charge of most of the extension of the fingers. Another great way to think of it is your digits. So digitorum digits. All right. Now we also have your brachioradialis. The brachioradialis is going to be number 5 over here. And it is on your radial region, aka the thumb region. All right. Now, this white band that is on top of all of the tendons over here, this is basically just anchoring all of the tendons down so that they're not popping up. This white band is called the extensor retinaculum. And you also have a flexor retinaculum, which is on the other side of your arm, on the flexion side. All right, so now that we've gone over that, we're going to go over flexion. So for flexion, first you have your flexor carpi radialis. If you follow your thumb upwards, you can see that there's this muscle over here. That muscle is your flexor carpi radialis. All right, now you also have your palmaris longus. You're going to follow this tendon that goes to all of the digits over here. So if you follow it up and go to the middle, number 7 over here, that muscle is going to be your palmaris longus. And then finally, you also do have a flexor carpi ulnaris. So you're going to follow your pinky upwards, this white tendon over here, and then number 6 right over there is your flexor carpi ulnaris. All right, beautiful. Now you have your biceps brachii. So you have 2 different heads of the biceps brachii, the first of which is going to be your long head. So the long head is going to be more lateral, while the short head is more medial. So that muscle right over there would be your biceps brachii. Finally, you also have your coracobrachialis. The coracobrachialis is this skinny little muscle up here, right over there. That's your coracobrachialis, very close to your armpit region. All right. So that is pretty much all of the flexor muscles. Think about if you are kind of like flexing a dumbbell, then you would hold it in the palm of your hand, and therefore all of these muscles are considered to be flexion muscles. All of these ones are extension muscles. Now, once again, as you have your extensor retinaculum as the band over the top of your wrist, at the bottom of your wrist, you're going to have another band over here, and that is going to be your flexor retinaculum. And then on this side, you can even see your subscapularis again, as labeled by number 1. Finally, one last muscle is your deltoid, number 19. It's this big concave looking muscle over here, and that is your deltoid muscle. If you ever hear of people talking about their delts, it is referring to their shoulders. All right, so that is everything for this lesson. I hope you guys found it helpful. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please put them in the comment section. If you would like some extra anatomy tutoring, I also offer that, so please feel free to comment on that, and I will get back to you with tons of resources and some extra help. Again, please like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!